Now, in the Sunday Morning Futures exclusive, is the former physician to Presidents Trump and Obama, now Texas Congressman Ronny Jackson. And it's great to see you, Congressman. Thanks very much for joining us. Walk us through your credentials first, your medical credentials. You were in the White House for how long? Tell us about your background, Congressman.
Yeah, well, I'm a board-certified emergency medicine physician, Maria. I was in the White House for 14 years during the Bush administration, the Obama administration, and the Trump administration. During that time, I took care of all three of the presidents, and on a day-to-day basis. I also was the director of the White House Medical Unit and the appointed physician to the president for both Obama and Trump. So I kind of feel like I know exactly what's required on a day-to-day basis, both mentally and physically, to do the job of President of the United States.
So you're gonna send another letter. You've sent several letters already to the White House. You're ready to send another letter to the White House tomorrow. Tell us what you're doing.
Yeah, well, Maria, I don't need to tell you, I don't need to tell your viewers or anybody else in this country right now that we have a serious problem here. Everyone knows it now. You don't have to be a physician. You certainly don't have to be a physician to the president to see what's going on right now. So I have sent 5 letters previously asking for President Biden to submit to a cognitive test, very similar to the one that President Trump got while he was president. And all 5 of those letters have gone completely ignored. So tomorrow I'm sending a letter to President Biden, to his physician, Dr. O'Connor, and I'm CCing his entire cabinet. And it's embarrassing that I have to do this, and it's really embarrassing as a former White House physician to have to do something like this, but we don't have any choice based on what's going on. But I'm going to be demanding on behalf of many millions of concerned Americans right now that he submit to a drug test before and after this debate, specifically looking for performance-enhancing drugs. Because we've seen recently in his State of the Union address that there was a Joe Biden that came out that was not similar at all to what we see on a day-to-day basis for the last 3.5 years. And there's just really no way to explain that other than he was on something, that they'd given him medications. I feel like this is probably what's going on over this week at Camp David. You know, he's going to be at Camp David for a full week before the debate. Part of that is probably experimenting with, just getting the doses just right, because, they have to treat his cognition. They have to give him something to help him think straighter. They have to give him something to wake him up, for his alertness. And then, he's been agitated. We see that all the time, and that's a common symptom or sign of this cognitive disorder that he seems to be suffering from. And so they're probably going to give him something to take the edge off that as well. They didn't get it right just last time at the State of the Union. He came out, he was obviously much more alert, but he was a yelling, angry old man, and he still didn't make a lot of sense. So I think they've got an uphill battle here, but I think that they're going to have to do something to try to wake him up and make him perform a little better during the debate. And I don't think that that's what the American people want out of their president. I think they want somebody that can do this on their own. They have to make incredible decisions. They have to multitask every day. We don't want somebody who has to be medicated to perform and potentially get the job done. So I think it's important that they prove to us that he's not doing performance-enhancing drugs of any type.
Well, I mean, that State of the Union sparked so much conversation. I spoke with Dr. Greg Murphy, who is the chairman of the GOP Doctors Caucus right now, as you know, and he said Joe Biden was definitely, quote unquote, jacked up during the State of the Union. So what do you think President Biden's issues are? What drugs would they give him?
Well, there's drugs out there. Aricept is one of the ones that you most commonly hear about, but there's all kinds of new drugs that are out there that are specifically for Alzheimer's or Parkinson's, things that, that cause these cognitive issues that the president seems to be subject to. Those drugs are out there. They treat the cognition part of it. They try to, make it where he can think straighter and he's not lost and confused as much. And then there's drugs that actually just increase alertness, like Adderall and other types of amphetamine type drugs, maybe Provigil, things like that. And then there's a host of drugs that try to take the agitated edge off of most of these cognitive disorders. So I feel like they're probably giving him a little bit of all of this. They just have to get it just right. They all have different times of onset. They have different duration. They interact with each other. So it's it's a challenge, but I think they have no choice with what they're working with. They don't have much to work with.
Well, I mean, is that dangerous to be drugging President Biden going into the debate? I mean, this all sounds incredibly dangerous. He's the commander-in-chief.
Well, yeah, it's dangerous not just for him, I would say, but it's dangerous for our country. I mean, we need a commander-in-chief. We need a head of state that can function on a day-to-day basis without being medicated. And that's why this drug test is important, because if he gets up there and he looks like he did from the State of the Union, where he's all, like Dr. Murphy said, all jacked up, the American people are going to realize that something's going on. That is not the Joe Biden that we see on a day-to-day basis. On a day-to-day basis, we see a Joe Biden that struggles to stay awake. He looks sleepy. He slurs his speech. He shuffles when he walks. He's having these freezing episodes now. So the American people need to know what's going on. And our adversaries and our allies see this. And it's a national security issue for us. Wow. It really is.
It certainly sounds that way. Congressman, it's great to get your take on this. We so appreciate you. Dr. Ronny Jackson, Congressman. Thank you, sir. All right, we will catch up soon. Quick